What's up, y'all? It's been a while since I created a vlog, but I will be back and you'll be seeing a lot more videos and vlogs and random stuff because I quit my job. I quit my job about 2 weeks ago to go full force and full time, 100 miles per hour on my ventures. So that's what this video is going to be about. The truth and the experience that I've had so far on leaving a stable job for chasing my dream life. So let's get into it. So just to give you a little bit more context, I used to be a software developer. For me, being a software developer is super general because a software developer could be a QA engineer, it could be a software engineer, it could be a data analyst, it could be a release engineer. There's so many different titles that encompass software developer or software engineer. So to give you a little backstory, I started out as a DBA, so database administrator sort of, where I would write scripts for database for our application teams. Then I started getting into Tableau because it was more creative. I decided to do Tableau route, so then I became a data visualization specialist or data analyst. I would actually say I became a business intelligence developer. And then recently I was transitioned into being a release engineer. And that was outside of my control. It was due to organizational changes within my company. So it kind of went downhill from there because I wasn't able to work on and continue growing my core skills in data visualization and data analytics. So it just got to a point where things weren't working out for me. And also I had these ventures that I've been sharing with you guys, I think in previous videos. And if not, you'll be hearing more about them soon, to where I believe that I have enough momentum to keep those going and to get those going to replace my salary that I made as a software developer. So that's the backstory. I've been unemployed. That's what it is. But I like to say I've been an entrepreneur who hasn't secured stable income, that's how I like to call myself, for a week now. So last week was my first week being in this new chapter, and it's been great. I got some small wins, which was great because I feel like that was God talking to me and giving me those answers that I was thinking about. And I've also noticed a few things. So now let's get into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is the mental shift. So I feel like when you are in a 9-to-5, the mental mindset is, I have a 9-to-5, it's stable, I may get a new project that I haven't done before, or I may get asked to work on a new skill set that I've never worked before, but the probability of me not having stable income is super small. I mean, not now, because I feel like nowadays layoffs are pretty common, but the gist is the mental mindset when you have a 9-to-5 or a corporate job with stable income is, I'm just gonna go to the job, to do my best work and to, supply my skill set to the company. And in return for working 40 hours a week or more, I hear some stories of people working 50, 60 hours a week, which is just crazy. But anyways, giving that skill set and then in return, you get a paycheck. But when you are an entrepreneur or when you're unemployed working on building your dream life, one thing I noticed this week was the mental shift is big because now it's like I don't have a steady 2-week paycheck coming in. Everything is on me. I am the creator. I am the person responsible for my life and for my income. So basically, I'm the boss now. And if I don't execute, then nothing moves. Whereas I think in corporate world, you don't really have to always execute every day. Like for me, in my experience, there's like lulls, highs and lows, where sometimes you're super busy working on multiple projects, but then sometimes work or corporate could get a little slow for me, or you just don't really feel like showing up that day or that week. So you do the bare minimum, but you still get paid. It's not as big of a deal as it is when you are on your own and you're your own boss and you have to execute to keep things moving. Another small thing that I've noticed is there's no external validation. So it's really on you to make the moves. It's really on you to kind of figure out what's going right, what's going wrong, speaking to maybe some customers who you service or speaking to friends about it. But it is different because in corporate, you typically have like a bi-weekly check-in with your manager one-on-one to get external validation. So external validation is not really something that you're going to get when you're on your own, which for me is not a big deal. I don't really need external validation. I'm really good on asking, my customers, how do they feel about my service, all that. So that really wasn't a big deal, and it isn't. That is definitely number one that I've noticed, is the mental mindset shift. So the second thing that I noticed is it's sort of like a gift and a trap. So when you work a 9 to 5, you get back home, whether you're remote and you work from home, or you go into the office and then return back an hour later, so around 6 p.m., whatever. I've noticed that for me, like when you don't have the 9 to 5, you have so much more time to focus on your ventures. So I created a new weekly schedule for myself to follow, so that way I have some sort of structure for all of my ventures. And this week it went pretty well. I was able to follow the structure and get things done. But I said to myself, wow, I did a lot of work this week. And that would not have happened if I had a 9 to 5. If I had a 9 to 5, I think that work that I did in that week would have probably taken maybe 2 weeks or 2.5. Because when you get home from a 9 to 5, especially if you are working on multiple projects at work, or you're really working and it's not like a slow moment or slow chapter at work, you don't really feel, number one, able to do it because you're already tired. You're physically tired, and or you're mentally tired. And number two, because of that, you don't really have the inspiration to want to work on what you have to work on, your ventures outside of work. You have very little, or you have none at all. So that's one thing I noticed. On Friday, I was saying to myself, wow, I really worked a lot this week, and this would not have happened if I had a 9 to 5. So for me, I have so much more time to do all of my ventures, which is tidy up spaces, my content creation, which is multiple channels within content creation, and Tech Talk with Tyler. And mentally too, like I'm able now to go on a walk in the morning because I don't have to be so rigid with my timing. So I don't have to be in the office at 9 or 8:30 in the morning and leave at 4:30. It's like I could go on a walk at 8 and start my day at 10. So it's really helpful because I'm able to do a lot more for myself, mentally, physically, emotionally, and for my business as well. But the caveat is time could be a trap if you don't use it correctly. So you have to be really, really intentional with your time. You can't let it just slip past you. You can't let it just be like, all right, I don't really know what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna chill. You could chill, but you have to be intentional with your time. So for me, just like I said, I create a weekly schedule. The night before tomorrow, I check it and see what it looks like. And then throughout the day, I see where I'm at. And similar to how I spoke about in the beginning, there's going to be a money mindset shift. So you're not gonna get paid bi-weekly. You're gonna get paid, at least for me, I'm gonna get paid on a really off schedule until it becomes consistent. And I think that's the same for you if you are building your own business or trying to build stable income on your own with whatever venture you're working on. You're gonna have to get used to a couple of months maybe of, hopefully shorter, but of inconsistent payments. So for me right now, it's through brand deals. I do brand partnerships through social media, and this week I got 3 brand partnerships, but next week I'm not sure, or the week after that I'm not sure. So that's something that I knew I was gonna have to get used to. That's why I had a savings before I made the decision to quit, which is just another side note for you if you're ever thinking to quit. I recommend 3 to 6 months of savings. I recommend 6 months just because the job market is kind of trash right now. So with what I was just saying, I think for me, it's sort of a push. It's a push because I'm like, okay, today I need to reach out to, pitch to these brands or email this contact back at this company. I'm always trying to get another brand partnership or another customer for my business, Tidy Up Spaces. I'm always thinking, what do I have to do? What can I do? How can I do this? How can I pitch this? It's always on my mind. And those are pretty much all of the things that I wanted to talk about. I think that leaving your 9 to 5 to follow your dreams, it's a big deal, and kudos to you if you've done that recently or if you're thinking about doing it. I suggest doing it, but I suggest being really intentional with it. Think through it. Don't just do it on a haste. It's going to require intentionality and grit, and it is going to kind of switch things to be all on you. So with that, thank you for watching. If you have any questions about my journey through tech and through getting through tech, or if you have any questions about this or any comments, leave them down in the comment section below. I'll be sure to read it. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already to continue following along my journey with me, because I know I will be letting you guys know all the wins, all the L's that I take, all of the things that I've learned throughout this process, so that way I could then share it with you and help you go through the process yourself. So that's all I have. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.